Gracias, Jalico. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is so nice to have the joy of the Holy of Purim, to enter this Shabbat of Parashat Ki Tisa, to enter this very special Shabbat in which we are going to celebrate so many important things. The first one is Shabbat. But in this Shabbat, we will have one of the children of our community also coming up to a Torah. Laila, you'll come up to a Torah and we will recognize you as a bat mitzvah, as an adult in the eyes of the Jewish community. And every single time that one of our children come up to a Torah, it's so special and it's so important. Probably for your family too, but for our community. Our community is very proud. And we're going to start this Shabbat, lighting Shabbat candles that you can find the blessing on page 120. We will invite Rachel and Laila to lead us in the blessing. Shabbat Shalom, as we bring in the light of this Shabbos candle, we hope that the light of this Shabbat will help us enter into a palace on time, into a different time of rest, sacred time. We will now turn our Sidurim to page 130. Lehu Neranena, we walk toward welcome in Shabbat, enjoy. Page 132. Adonai malach tagel haaretz, yismechu ihim rahavim. Or zaru al tzadik, a light it is song within the heart of the righteous, and for the seekers of righteousness, of integrity, a path of joy, a path toward joy. On page 133, Mizmor Shiru Adonai Shir Hadash. We ask for the ability in Shabbat to sing a new song, to reconnect in awe with the things that sometimes take for granted in our routines, to fall in love with the many beauties we encounter in our routines that sometimes we forget that they are niflaot, that they are wonders. Each one of these poems, each one of these psalms is like a step in a stairway that invites us to enter a different zone, a different space that is dedicated to time, to the sacredness time, that invites us to connect with the moment in which we are and with what is eternal in our lives. I invite you to turn your Sidurim, your prayer books, to page 134. Samru Adonai. our Sidurim to page 135. We don't turn them. We look into page 135. We say, Romemu Adonai Eloheinu. And it's the word Romemu. It means to exalt something, to lift something up. It is quite telling that when we try to exalt something, we find ourselves exalted, lifted up. When we invest our energies in elevating things, we will find ourselves also in a higher position. And to some extent, that is Shabbat's invitation. We are now on page 136 for Psalm 29, Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor LeDavid, Abul Adonai Benelim, Abul Adonai Kavod Vavos, Abul Adonai Kevod Shemo Ishtachavu Adonai Be'adarat Kodesh Kol Adonai Al Almahim Elad Kavod Irivim Adonai Al Mahim Rabim Kol Adonai Ba'koach Kol Adonai Be'adar Kol Adonai Shover Arasim Ba'etel Adonai Et Arsei Albano Va'yer Kedem Kemo Egel Lebanon Besilion Kemo Bebremi Ay Kol Adonai Chotzer Lavodesh Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh Kol Adonai Echole Ayadon Vayechesov Ye'arot Uveichalot Kulo Omer Kavod Adonai Lama Avud Yashava Yeshev Adonai Melech Leolam Adonai Yos Le'amo Yiten Adonai Yevarech et Amo Asher Ay 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 Hopefully feeling a bit higher now, a bit more exalted, is that we turn our Sidurim to page 138. And maybe if you close your eyes and try to open your heart, maybe then you can see, you can feel the majestic presence of Shabbat, the invitation of Shabbat to fall in love with its beauty. On page 138, to welcome the Shabbos bride, Chadodi Likrat Kala. Beloved, come to meet the bride. Beloved, come to greet Shabbat. Chadodi לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. להדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
שמע וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המולפן. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה.
להדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. להדודי לקראת קהלה,
פני שבת נקבלה.
לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה.
להדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. להדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. נהרי מעפר קומי לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמים על יד ונשען בתהלך מקורבה אל נפשי גאלה לך אדוני לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה לך אדוני לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה. Say it out. התעוררי לא תאושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי, אך יחסו עניי ימי ונבנתה עיר אל תהילה לך אדוני לקראת קהלה פני שבת
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובשולה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לכלותי לקראת כלה. פני שבת נקבלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
And while we are standing, we are going to take a moment to say good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom to one another. If you see a face that you don't recognize, please make a point out of saying good Shabbos. We are going now to turn our fluorine to page Can you hear me? We are going to turn our study to page 140. Turn your study to page 140. We're going to invite Laila, our bat mitzvah, to start leading us for this segment in prayer. And Laila brought her personal minyan with her. We're fine with that. So please be seated.
משמו שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולשמח לשמך עליון.
מזמור שיר
ליום השבת,
טוב להודות לאדוני, ולשמח לשמך מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולשמח לשמך עליון. We'll now turn our study to page 144 for Chetzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
בעלמא דברך ירותי והמליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי בכל בית ישראל. בגאלה, בגאלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמך מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעולם ממחו ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה תמיד בעלמא, ואמרו אמן.
Please rise for Baruch on page 146. Am I awake? Am I prepared?
Are you listening to my prayers? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai.
You may be seated.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has spoken this evening, this one right here, into being, who has skillfully opened the gates, altered time, changed the seasons, which we are watching happen right in front of us, and arranged the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. Borei Yom Balayla, creator of day and night, who rolls light from darkness and darkness from light. Adonai Tzvaot Shemo is your name. El Chai V'Kayam, ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim.
בת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. Everlasting love, you offer your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. As we get closer to the Shema, our tradition invites us to think about the source of an everlasting love, an idea that reassures us again and again that we are not alone in the world. I invite you to take just a moment, and if you feel comfortable doing that, to close your eyes and to think about what that source of everlasting love looks like to you, feels like to you. What the presence of that love in your life, in your world, let you know. The support that you feel, the strength that you feel because of that love that comes from nature, from family, from memories, from experiences, from our tradition, from the way in which we choose to live our lives. Our tradition invites us to think about wisdom, about legacies of wisdom that we carry and that make us feel supported and strengthened in our lives. As we get closer to the Shema, we think of that loving legacies that might be different for each one of us, but every single one of us carries. Let that love fill your heart, and let that love be one with you. I invite you to hold on to that in your heart for a moment and to focus on your breath. As we said, dear God, please never remove your love from us. Be'avadcha al tasir mimenu leolamim. I invite you to take a deep breath. And become one. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Israel. We're on page 152. Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Page 154. ואהבת את אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננת לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם
אמת, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. אמת באמון הכל, סוד וקיים עלינו, כי אדוני אלוהינו באין זולתו, ואנחנו ישראל עמו. We will continue with the silent reading over page 156. On page 158, maybe in a combination between the redemption of going through the sea of reeds and the kind of redemption that we experience in Purim, we'll try to do a mashup between the words of the Song of the Sea, Mi Chamocha, and the melody of one of the Purim songs. It works. We tried it before. Just try to allocate the words. Focus on the text. You know the melody. We can do this. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora te'itot אוסף אלה, לא נתעילות, אוסף אלה. You see, it works. Remember that the last sentence breaks in two. Now that you are feeling it, if we do it for the next time we do it is next year, it's a bummer. So let's do it again. מי חמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, צליענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאה לו מיד חזק ממנו. Dai-di-di-dai-dai, dai-di-di-dai-dai, dai-di-di-dai-dai. Well, let's do it right here. Dai-di-di-dai-dai.
Rush, rush, rush.
Dai-di-di-dai-dai.
Rush, rush, rush.
Dai-di-di-dai-dai.
Rush, rush, rush.
Dai-di-di-dai-dai.
Rush, rush, rush.
It resolves, but I didn't want to resolve it because I was feeling you finally. So, no. Dai-di-di-dai, last time. Dai-di-dai-dai. Baruch atah Adonai Gal Israel. At the bottom of page 160, in the middle of page 160, the words of Ashkivenu are the blessing for internal peace, for the peace that we try to create in our hearts. And after reciting this blessing for peace, for internal peace, we basically move to Tfilat Amidah, to our personal prayer. But in Shabbat, you will see that on page 162, you will find the words of Shamru b'nei Israel et Shabbat. The children of Israel shall keep Shabbat to make it a covenant, an eternal covenant for their own generation. We will be talking about that tomorrow. And the reason we will talk about that tomorrow is because this is the Torah portion, Parashat Ki Tisa, in which we read that beautiful, beautiful idea that we sing every single Shabbat. And we sing that before Tfilat Amidah, before the central prayer of our service in Shabbat, because we are reminded in Shabbat, we remind ourselves, and we are reminded by the tradition that we can go beyond our regular prayers and thoughts. That in Shabbat, we can think about loftier things. That if we, every single day of the week, pray about something that we really care, in Shabbat, we can push that thinking process, that idea that we are so focused on, that prayer, into a higher level. So I invite you to think about what it means for you in this Shabbat to elevate whatever you're thinking about, whatever is constantly in your heart. What does it mean to go in that road to a higher level, to a higher place? Page 160 and then page 162. Shmor seteinu uboheinu lechaim uleshalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Baruch atah Adonai hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Israel ve'al Yerushalayim. Shamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. והני ובן בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי שבת וינפל. Page 164 for Tfilat Amidah, we will recite the first sentence together and then we will continue silently. Adonai sfatai tiftach ufi yagid ufi yagid during these times of strife, we have added a prayer of shalom, a prayer of peace, on top of the prayer of peace that we have in our Amidah. You can find that text in the handouts. Please alternate with us.
Master of peace, creator of all, you made this world with order and purpose, yet we find ourselves in conflict and division.
Teach us to seek peace, not as an escape, but as a responsibility.
Help us uproot arrogance, anger, and fear. Let us not be ruled by hatred or the desire to conquer.
May we learn to see dignity in every person, even those with whom we struggle.
There are those still searching for home, those exiled by war, by fear, by forces beyond their control.
Gather in the scattered, open the doors for those who long to return.
Do not let us be complacent. Do not let us surrender to despair. Make us builders, healers, seekers of justice.
Let us not wait for peace to arrive. Let us work for it with our hands and with our words.
May it be your will, O source of peace, that swords be turned into plowshares, that we choose understanding over fear, and that peace is not just prayed for, but lived.
Shalom bimromav, Huya se shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'nomar amen.
We take a moment also to offer prayers for healing, for those who are ill, those who are dealing with addiction, those who are dealing with grief. As I look around the room, please add your names into this space. Scott Van Gundy, Dave Stahl, Batya Peters, Sandra Goldberger, Mira Engel, Berdine Coven, Sandy Corman, Debbie Pink, Rich the Bridger, Ruth Murad, Meredith Cooper, Rita Norton, Harry Ratner, Bill Rupright, Judy Sutton, Bernice Paris, Alex Chapman, Arlene German, Raz Zins, Linda Elner, Mac Kaplowitz, Gabriel Jacobson, Lillian Murad.
Refana la, Elna 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 refana la. אז נתחזק ונתרפא. אל נרפנה לה, אל נרפנה לה, אל נרפנה לה, אל נרפנה לה. To wish to all of them, to all of you, to all of us, to all those that are in need of healing, רפואה שלמה והחלמה מהירה, a complete recovery, and soon to experience well-being.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm gonna do something a little different with this drash, so I hope you'll bear with me, right? Drash, sometimes we think about it for like lidrosh, right, in the sort of biblical sense, to demand or request, but drash, like midrash, to expound upon. And since we have some of our younger members here in abundance tonight, I'm gonna try and speak it at your level, and then everyone else will catch up, hopefully. So let's talk about idolatry. What's idolatry? I should have seen that coming. Yes?
I said it's like when we have a president like we have right now.
Okay, not going there. What's idolatry? No, really. I know, I deserved this, but I'm going to see it through. Worship of another God. Worship of something other than God. And that's one of the top 10 in Judaism. It's a big deal. And it's very relevant this week because we have the story of the golden calf. Am I too loud or is it just me? Okay. The golden calf, is everyone familiar with this story? And I'm looking at my target demographic here. Yes? Yes? All right. The short recap is this. Moses is gone. I'm going to skim through it really fast, right? Moses is gone 40 days and 40 nights. And the people say, we're in Exodus 32 for those following. The people say, right, we don't know what happened to that man Moses. They say literally, that man Moses. Come, let us make a new Elohim. For we don't know. We got to make a new one. Elohim, traditionally translated as God. This is a problem. Because, and this is where the idolatry part comes in. They're going to make a new, what the heck? If you had just, this has baffled commentators for a long time. If you had just left Egypt, right? If in front of you a divine being had split an ocean, would you be inclined to be like, yeah, well, he's late. Let's make another one. It's like the Uber driver. You got 2 minutes, and if you're not there, too bad. What? Why? And our commentators struggle with this. And if you read our commentators, one of our commentators, Rashi, these are our medieval sort of rabbis, or oral Torah period is closed. We're moving on to medieval times. And Rashi has this, he gets very creative trying to explain this, right? They didn't count the time quite right. They started here. Yes, I thought so as well. And Satan shows up, and there's a thing in the air. They couldn't quite make it. It's a lot. If you're like me, you find that a little unsatisfying because it just doesn't make sense that you would be following a cloud by day, a pillar of fire by night, and then you'd be like, well, that's it. It doesn't track. So, when I was in yeshiva back in the day, this teacher, Rabbi Gottlieb, and he suggested something quite different. There are these two rabbis, of all the rabbis, Rambam and Ramban, or Maimonides and Nachmanides, they're the geniuses among the geniuses. Not because, by the way, of their any greater insight, but really because of their maybe greater ability to explain things. They're a little like, Niels Bohr and Albert Einstein in that way. And Maimonides mentions in the intro to his book, The Guide to the Perplexed, he says, Elohim, you got to understand it's a homonym. Because if you look in Genesis, most of the time it means God. But there's a couple points where it means judges, or lordly figures, or, lords, elevated beings, divine beings like angels occasionally. And so Ramban takes this, and he says, wait a second. Let's rewrite the story. What happened? It's a group of people sitting at the foot of Sinai. They're very anxious. Maybe they messed up the time, who knows? And what do? They're like, we don't know what happened to Moses. But actually, the thing we really want is a connection to divinity. They're not saying, let's make a new God. It's often translated like that. No. What they're saying is, let's make a new lordly, let's make a new Moses. Let's replace our leader because our anxieties have got the best of us. This is still heresy, by the way. Right? Heresy from the Greek heresis means to choose. That's the root word of it. But I think it's really important to think about, like, all the people involved in this heresy, in this understanding, wanted to do a really good thing. Isn't that how heresy works? Maybe not. We don't really think, if I say who's an idolater, who's a heretic, with certain exceptions, like, most of us are not like, oh, that's me. Well, I want to meet the rest of you, though. But in fact, we see something quite different happening here. These are people who, in the heat of a moment, got caught up. Let their anxieties take charge. Let their anxieties blind them to the greater context of a situation. Friends, I see these golden calf moments. No one here thinks about the story and thinks, oh, I'm going to make a calf. That's just not a thing. Oh, let's melt down my wedding ring. No one does that. But in fact, we're all doing some version of it. That's why it's really important. These golden calf moments occur when we say, I talked to a student who said, I know I should be focusing in school, but frankly, I get overwhelmed, and I just find myself playing video games. They happen when I talked to someone else the other day who said, you know what? I don't even know I was involved in that. I just got caught up. We have golden calf moments all the time. To err is human. To be an idolater is not some crazy thing. It's actually to be human. But the point of this week's Parsha, to make it relevant, so it's not just words on a page, is actually to think about, wait a second, how is it that I know I'm prone to these golden calf moments? These moments I let my fears, my anxieties override my greater judgment. How is it that I can use my tradition, my spirituality, stop quite being so human in that moment, to reach safely towards something quite divine? Food for thought. Shabbat Shalom.
We'll continue our service on page 586 with Aleinu Leshabeach. We will invite you to rise as we open the ark, and we will invite all those that are around the age of Bnei Mitzvah or under the age of Bnei Mitzvah or haven't come up to the Torah as Bnei Mitzvah yet to join Rabbi Michael at the Bima as we will open the ark. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, בגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, עד קדוש ברוך הוא. In the middle of page 590, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני ומלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. As we close the curtain of the ark, the parochet, you may be seated. At this point, we will take a moment to acknowledge mourners in our community. We acknowledge the different times and cycles of mourning, but we will begin by taking notice of the yahrzeit that we have Shir Hadash.
We remember those who died at this season in years past. Bert Cass, Bert Jacknow, Carolyn Latween, David Heller, Ellie Barrow, Ethel Schenker, Florence Stein, Hadassah Alta Rostholder Held, Harold J. Siegel, Harry Fabe, Jean Kelver, Larry Marks, Laura Dovick, Marion Wisnia, Melvin Marks, Mimi Levy, Norbert Linder, Paul Leiter, Phyllis Loff, Richard Kennemer.
If you are during the first 7 days of mourning Shiva, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. And so if you are during the cycle of the first 30 days of mourning Shloshim, and if you are during the cycle of the first year of mourning, start for the first row and then we're going to go to the back. If you have a yahrzeit this week, the anniversary of someone's passing by this time of the year and years past, please rise and share with us who you're remembering. Blessed memory.
My father, Paul Leiter.
You can support our fellows who are standing or sitting, joining us with your voices or your hearts for Kaddish Avelim, Mourners Kaddish on page 598.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו
Amen. May the memories of your dear ones be always a blessing in your life, and may the memories of the people that you mourn help you translate and bring blessing into your life and into the world. Yesichram Baruch. You may be seated. Would like to invite our president, Jody Muirhead, to share announcements and some greetings.
Thank you. Oh, there we go. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm just going to highlight a few announcements, but you can always find all the events and details on the website calendar. So first of all, Mazel Tov to Lila and her family. Tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Shabbat service, we will be celebrating her bat mitzvah and also the baby naming of Adeline Weiner. Then on Sunday, Purim is still here. We just go on for days and days with Purim this year. So the Purim Carnival will be held on March 16th in the midday. If you have young ones, please come and have lots of fun. If you don't have young ones, please come and have lots of fun. There's going to be lunch and just a nice gathering of our community. So please come, and there's still room to sign up if you want to help with the carnival too. So that would be great. Coming up on Thursday, March 27th to Saturday, March 29th, Congregation Sinai and Congregation Shir Hadash are excited to collaborate on a musician in residence weekend featuring Rabbi Deborah Sachs-Mintz. You may remember when she was here last time. Held at Congregation Sinai, there's a workshop on leading communal prayer and song on Thursday, March 27th at 7 p.m. And then also at Congregation Sinai, Friday, Shabbat services start at 6 p.m. Dinner starts around 7:30 p.m. by registration only.
Madam President, let's emphasize that that night, Shir Hadash will be holding its service at Congregation Sinai. So
There will not
let's make
be-
sure that you don't come here. We will send communications in all possible ways, Facebook, like if it doesn't work, like I don't want to point fingers, but that I will say communications in all possible ways. But please be advised, know that when we are advertising Friday night at Congregation Sinai, it means that Shir Hadash is hosting its services at Congregation Sinai.
Thank you. So the service starts at 6, the dinner starts at 7:30 by registration only, and then at 8:45 p.m. is a Nigun circle. Through the meditative power of wordless melody, we'll explore the depths and joys of communal song. So that's Friday. Saturday, March 29th at Shir Hadash, in addition to our normal morning, at 8:30 p.m. there will be pre-concert appetizers and schmooze, and then at 9 p.m. concert begins, including some of Rabbi Deborah Sachs-Mintz's newest music. And then the Braid's first Shir Hadash performance of the year will be on Sunday, March 30th at 2 p.m. The Braid returns to Shir Hadash to perform a curated collection of true modern Jewish stories and song. Find where to get your tickets on our website. Thank you.
Plus, March 30th is also Mitzvah Day, so more information will be coming about that, so you can sign up for projects to do on Mitzvah Day.
We'll now turn our student to page 122 for Kiddush. We invite everybody to please rise. בערב ויבוקר יום השישי, ויחול השמיים בארץ בכל צבעם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי, מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי, מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו. כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סברי חבריי וחברותיי, say לחיים עד לאוד.
לחיים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו, באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא הקודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. חיים. We'll now invite each one of us, each one of you, to stand next to your family, your friends, your chosen family. If your family is not here, if you don't have a friend here, make a friend. Make eye contact with someone. Join someone. Make sure that you don't stay alone. As in Shabbat, we make sure that we share our blessings to one another. In Shabbat, we are reminded of the creation of the world, but not only of the creation of the world. We are reminded, thank you, of our own creations, of the love that we create, that we bring into this world. We tell to our children, ישמחם אלוהים כאפרים וכמנשה, ישמחם אלוהים כשרה, רבקה, רחל, ולאה. May God inspire you to be like the loving parents of the house of Israel. And we say to all of them, to all of you, יברככם אדוני וישמרכם. May God bless you and protect you. יאר אדוני פניו אליכם ויחונכם. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. יישא אדוני פניו אליכם. May you find God's presence within you always. And may you have the orech ruach, the patience, the consistency to find your path, not to get confused on your way, not to take idols instead of what is the reality of integrity, the reality of investing on your way, on your path in life. And may you have the internal peace, the strength. May God give you that peace to make it through, to stick to your goals, and to move forward, to step forward to the future that you want to build, to the promised land that you will reach at some point. וישם לכם, וישם לנו, may God still in all of us, shalom. אדוני עוש לעמיו איתם, may God give its people the strength to be embracers, to be builders of shalom. אדוני יברך את עמיו בשלום. שבת שלום, שבת שלום מבורך everybody. שבת שלום. עולים מקדש ושכנתי בתוכם